now is the best time to update, because we've been running the computer for over an hour, so of course that means that's what's going to happen.
Windows said, like, Windows 10 updates, they're done. Buy the new version. Well, they're not done. They went, we can't resist making a mess of your computer. Anyway, it's great to see you. Hope I find you well. I'm Jenny Kirk, and with me, we have a special guest up here in the loft. We've got Peachy TT 120.
It's amazing.
It's too hot up here.
Exactly. I mean, respect. He's brought a proper pith helmet. It's like you're going to be going out and
fighting the fuzzy fuzzies. Yes.
Yeah.
Does this mean that you're a pith lord?
Hey.
So stop throwing those bloody spears at me.
I've been warned that the Double O community might be chucking sleepers or points at me. So.
What's the point of that?
Hey.
Yeah, but don't worry, they're only tiny. So it's great to see you all. Welcome to another Monday
Peter.
Club. So there's going to be a heavy leaning towards TT120. We're going to be talking a lot about that. But shall we roll the intro?
Roll VT.
I've got to find my button now. Press the button. Hit the lever.
Welcome to the Monday Club, your online model rail club for all the news, gossip, layout tours and more, with your host, broadcaster and model maker, Jennifer Kirk.
So, we are back. It's Monday night and it's great to see you. Hope I find you well. We've got Peachy TT 120.
In the house!
Yeah, ooh yeah. So it's TT 120 night and it's great to have you here. You find us okay?
Absolutely no problem. Just cruise along the MTG2, we're fine.
And don't tell Gandalf, but he's brought posh biscuits. Oh, thank you.
Did someone say
it's the tax?
So, oh my word!
They were very good, but I'll be nice and I'll magic up some more. Oh, go on then, you can have them.
They're mad. They are proper mad.
Yeah.
I thought they were making it up.
Yeah, no, Gandalf's a bit camera shy, but there we are. Hold on, I've got oh no, where's my like my Gandalf wrangler? Gandalf?
She's dead. You
Gandalf?
killed her.
Do not bring that kind of magic here, wench.
Hello everyone.
Bye.
Oh, if you're new to the Monday Club and you're from the TT120 community, you have to hang around for 20 minutes before you can chip in.
Yeah.
So don't panic.
You have to subscribe, then hang around for 20 minutes. If you don't like what you're saying, you can unsubscribe afterwards. It's just how we stop people from turning up and going, triple X prawn!
Thank you for that, Jen, for making sure that 5 minutes into the live stream you've mentioned prawn, and therefore I am going to have to talk to YouTube and get the lecture.
The lecture?
Naughty, advertiser friendly.
But
Yes.
can I say one thing, that I'm very, very pleased with the fragrant candles that you've been burning in here to get rid of essence of Craig.
Yes, because I had Craig last week, and as you can imagine, Craig left a calling card. We have looked high and low. I think we found it, but there we are. So we've got Nick at Bletchley High
Can
Level,
I just
Francis
ask
Wadsworth.
one thing before I disappear?
Yes.
Do we have a sponsor?
Yes, we do.
Would you like to say something about them?
I'll mention them, yes, don't you worry.
Excellent.
Yes,
and
I will.
also, would you like a cup of tea, coffee, Coke?
I would love a coffee, white, one sugar or sweetener.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. And I will... Actually, there should be a bottle of Coke here somewhere.
There's a hokey cokey, because that's what it's all about.
Coke. So, beverage of choice is Diet Coke, not sponsored by them, but if they were to send us a crate, I wouldn't say no. So we've got Iron Horse Railway says brown sound. Oh, no, you put that brown note away. We've got Southern Train Girl, great to see you, hope you find you well. Other Junction Railways, 3B Rail, Xantec, Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase. Oh, thank you so much, 156 Andrew, Shortbread Express, who's very kindly donated £2 on the Super Chat, says Jenny, Shortbread Ice Cream, much love to you and Zoe. Thank you so much. Mike Lane, TT120. Great to see. Oh, so the TT120 crowd are in. So you've really sort of become known as being at the forefront of the TT120 scene. It's relatively new in the UK, although quite well established out in Europe.
I think it's only second to HO in Europe. It's bigger than Engage in Europe.
It's a big deal out in Europe. Certainly TT120's been around for quite some time. Yeah. So I know when it was announced in this country, some of the usual keyboard warrior crowd made out like it was completely new, but actually it wasn't.
And a waste of time. And we've had all that, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think we might have. We're nearly 3 years since Pico announced it, so maybe we can put that behind us. I don't know. Did
Pico announce it first, then Hornby, or were they about the same time?
I think Pico just picked Hornby, but from word in the background, I think they actually were having a conversation with Hornby, but apparently it's been quite an open rumour for quite some time. But then I wasn't really watching then. I hadn't come back to railway modelling. So
you're a relative newcomer to the modern railway modelling scene.
I mean, for me, I was railway modelling in the early 70s to the 80s, and with my dad, and part of a railway society through school, and then dipped my toe back into it when my boy was born. And so that's really kind of like around about 2010 when he was old enough to play with a Pendolino. And then, of course, we never had space for it. We put it under his bed. It got packed away. And we didn't touch it again until, I think it was Christmas of 22. Mrs. Peachy and Miss Peachy were in London on a little jolly. Myself and Jimmy were watching, what was the Hornby thing?
Hornby, A Model World?
That's the one.
Was that with me in the upside down layout?
Indeed, yeah. And then Simon Curler turned up with a big grin on his face and said, here's a new scale. It's more compact, but you also, what really caught our attention was the fact that everything was going to be built for this HM7000 app, which Jimmy seemed to be really excited about.
It has been a paradigm shift in terms of controlling trains, and with the emphasis on user-friendly. So you don't have to kind of work out the Zen black magic of being able to work out what to put in a CV number.
It is so user-friendly.
Yeah. And I think that's been key. But for me, actually, one of the biggest selling points of TT120 is the fact that it doesn't have the historical baggage of 00 or N-gauge, which makes it not proper scale. Yeah. TT120 is properly to scale. So the track, importantly, is the correct width between the rails. And you wouldn't think that it makes as much of a difference as it does. But when you look at TT120, it's the proportions are right.
If you line three A1 Pacifics up in O gauge, 00 and TT120, that's when you notice the 00.
Yes.
It's not. I'm not complaining about that because we've all loved 00 for years and years, and obviously it's massive in this country.
But I mean, it's this weird hangover from the 1930s when electric motors couldn't be made small enough,
and that excuse is 50 years out of date.
Yeah, and you would have thought that. I think nobody's ever dared bite the bullet and go, actually, we're going to sort this out now. I think the closest we got was Lima tried HO, UK outline HO. And it didn't catch on, and I
think if it had caught on, we wouldn't be here talking about TT120.
No, I think you're right. I think that if HO had become the dominant scale for UK outline models, then I think things might have been very different. But it didn't catch on. But TT120 does seem to have done quite well. I know there's been keyboard warriors from the outset around this is going to fail. What a waste of money. And the thing is, they're from the darkness of their wing-back armchairs, they seem to think that they're an expert on everything business-wise. But the reality is, TT120 has done very well. A case in point, Maltz Models did the special commission of the Shipley 3-pack.
That's right.
and actually did them in N-Gauge, TT120 and 00.
Yeah.
And I think you said the TT120 sold out in 4 hours.
He'd spoken to me at Key Model World about the fact that him and his dad were going to be commissioning buildings from Scenecraft, the signals from Beco, plus also bringing out a wagon from Beco.
Yes.
And he said, do you want to be involved in kind of promoting it? I said, yeah, of course, no problem at all. And at that time, he wasn't sponsoring or anything, but we've had a little bit of fun with that since. But he put it on his website at 7 a.m. I put it on my YouTube at 7 a.m. And literally 4.5 hours it was gone. I mean, admittedly, he only had 150 wagons.
Well, you say only.
I know.
But, there's a lot of
Thank you,
people
Zoe.
would kill for being able to shift wagons like that because it's...
If I could shift 150 units of something
I've
in
just
4 hours, I'd be very happy.
I think I've just spilt a load of brush cleaning fluid, so be prepared for the smell of
With some
turds.
more fumes.
Okay, so tonight, this episode is going to get very interesting in about
Cheers.
10 minutes.
yeah, there's a little bit of turpentine.
Is that okay?
Perfect.
Um,
Do we need to look at some questions?
Pim1234 says there are more and more TT120 manufacturers. I even got hold of a 2-horse plough with a farmer.
Yeah.
And West
Did he
Hill,
know?
West Hill Wagon Works have brought out quite an extensive range. But I think the latest that we've seen, Revolution Trains.
Yeah.
I'll be downstairs.
and-
Shout if you need me.
Absolutely. And I think that's been, the sign that TT120 is here to stay and is a success when we've started getting more manufacturers producing
And I think
wagons.
I think it might be a bit of a wake up call for some other manufacturers. Obviously, Revolution don't have all the data yet. But I know. Well, they've told me that initial sales and interest are very good.
Yeah.
They don't have exact numbers, or at least they're not going to share it with me.
Yeah.
I'm not quite in bed with them as people might think. Peter Jackson, Hellion, re-entering TT market. But didn't they throw the baby out with the bathwater? I'm not sure if they're too embarrassed to come back.
Well, I think one of the things with Hellion was that they announced a range, and then it turned out Hornby were also working on the same models. So they then decided that it wasn't worth competing in what was then potentially.
But all they showed us was a 00 graphic or a CAD. They didn't show anything other than that. If they had gone ahead with it, it would be out by now, and Hornby aren't even anywhere near preparing to build a 31. So we're still years away from a Hornby 31. And with the new, and obviously crystal balls are great, aren't they?
Yes.
Everyone didn't know that there was going to be a change of management. They didn't know that there was going to be a new groom who was going to be much more open and conversational with other manufacturers. So maybe with Martin Weaver at the helm, maybe they will come back. Maybe they will have a conversation with them. I don't know.
James Petts it says, question for the guest. What appeals about TT120 over N-Gauge?
I can see it.
I think that
My
extra side...
eyesight fell off a cliff when I was 45, and it's not going to come. It's not going to come back anytime soon.
Don't say that. I'm out 45. Although actually, I started out short-sighted in my teens.
Yeah.
Well, it must have been before. I think actually short-sighted, and it was picked up on when I was about 11 or 12. But I'm now at that age where old people tend to go a bit long-sighted. So I'm in this strange situation where my eyesight is sort of getting better, but in a less flexible sort of way. It's difficult to describe. Old people problems. Yeah.
Getting back onto the question, Peter, was I'd actually planned through AnyRail a decent size N-gauge layout to go in my garage, and I was just looking into locos, and I realised that if I really wanted older locos, then we were being predominantly restricted to 6-pin decoders. There was not that much when it came to actually what you could do inside them. And then I saw the TV show, saw how easy the HM7000 looked like it was going to be. And I must admit, I was also a little bit convinced by the fact that Simon was very excited about the fact that the 6-pin decoder was like £37. Now, at the time, I don't think Simon was being disingenuous, but I don't think he realised that 3 years later we still wouldn't have that 6-pin decoder.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issues with the HM7. Oh, yes, Gandalf. Yes, okay. I'm being reminded by Gandalf. It's getting a bit edgy. He does produce the program.
Has Alex been on the phone?
So we're just going to have a quick word from our sponsor, TMC, the Model Centre. Your first choice for all things new to pre-order, and also they carry extensive stocks as well as a wide range of vetted second-hand. You can also specify an upgrade in the form of bespoke weathering and customisation. The Monday Club is proudly sponsored by TMC, the Model Centre. Check them out at themodelcentre.com. The website features extensive stocks of new models as well as selective pre-owned items where you can track down that bargain you've always wanted. Pre-order with confidence all of the forthcoming models from all the manufacturers. TMC also offer a renumbering and renaming service so you can get the exact identity of locomotive that you want. Why not also check out their value weathering, or go for something incredibly special with their bespoke service where you can choose from a more extensive weathered look right through to custom graffiti either off the peg or to a design of your choice. Check out TMC today at themodelcentre.com and start your model journey. So we're back, and interesting question up. I think it's just. Is it just gone off the top? So there we are. A question from Tim Maslin says, "I wonder if ESU will make chips for TT120." And actually, whilst the sponsor was playing, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Decoders aren't scale specific. They don't really know what scale they're in. Now, I know that on the TXS profiles, they have some profiles which are labelled for TT and others for 00. That's down to them being tuned to the motor characteristics.
Yeah.
There's nothing actually stopping you putting the TT profile into your 00 locomotive or vice versa. You just have to run the auto calibration. Effectively, the profile has already got that taken care of. But you can put a Next 18 decoder into N-gauge, TT120, 00. Even O gauge, I think the Acura scale Ruston is a Next 18, even though it's O gauge.
I've got a Next 21 HM7000 chip in my O gauge Daypol. Yes, I know, slight cross scaling there.
Well, it's also that's got a TXS decoder in, and that's a Daypol O gauge B4, and it works absolutely fine.
The only problem you have is that you have to try and find a sound file that will kind of fit, because for example I've got that 21-pin HM7000 decoder in my Daypol Great Western pannier tank. They don't have a pannier tank sound file, so you have to go along and find a steam sound that is not far out, and for most people I think it's enough.
Yeah,
it's like I've got I think they've brought out an EMU now, Hornby. And so I've got that in one of my little German electric EMUs.
Yeah,
and it's not specific for that loco, but it sounds all right for me.
Well, that's it's the class 423. I've actually put it into my class 402. And when I posted a video, how does it sound, and I talked about this. You have somebody. I think you'll find that the traction motors are a different, so it will have a slight. And
the correct response to that is, well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that, but to me it sounds like an electric EMU. So I think that there are, and with steam locomotives, for me, I think as long as the number of cylinders and the whistle sound right, as far as I'm concerned, you're good. So I actually, in my panniers in O gauge, I think I'm using the Castle sound file,
right? Yeah.
Primarily for the whistle.
Yeah.
And it sounds GWR to me.
I've got Hornby's Fowler 4F.
Yes.
In my little dock shunter Fowler 2F.
Yes.
Just because it has a not dissimilar whistle, Well, I imagine, seeing the 10 of the 2Fs aren't around anymore and haven't been around for a long time.
Yes.
It does for me, you know.
Yeah.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, and it's, you know, my class 13 is using the class 08 sound file. Seems fine.
Now that's rude, though.
What?
I'm teasing.
B. Mozza says, "Sorry, I'm late." Well, Gandalf has gone to digest his gorging of the biscuits, but
A Monday clubber is never late, Toto Watkins, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
thanks, Gandalf, literally phoning his performance in.
Can I recommend to these people that they should be, that all of you should try and have a go at doing this? Because seeing behind the curtain and the level of tech.
The level of tech, the level of tech, the inside of a greetings card.
What is amazing up here, everyone, is the bits of where you are that you don't see. There's some fantastic details in the corners. There's and I thought it was much bigger. It isn't a huge now. It's like a TARDIS.
There's a lot
the other way
here.
round.
Yeah,
you know.
There's a lot that I've fitted up here. But yeah, I mean,
one's
it's
mentioned the TARDIS.
the TARDIS. There's no one's mentioned it.
They're not putting any effort in.
I don't even know where it is. Oh, well, wait a minute. I do, actually. I don't think we've shown an angle that's got it on. Because remember, you can see everything, but they can't. They can only see what's on the screen. But yeah, I mean, there's places like the Emu's Pink Windmill up there. There's somebody at the door. Which normally you'd never see. Oh yeah, you. Somebody asked what we got running. Actually, we got an all new. I'm going to see if I can pick it up. Actually, let's try and be daring. And we did have a problem with this camera earlier on.
You're right, Iron Horse.
Iron Horse, where? Who? What? Who?
Yeah, Weir Lard is a very well designed layout. It is a superbly designed layout, actually. It's got so many different flows and levels, but it also makes sense. You've got some nice proper little head shunts. You've got nice little kind of yards where things are. I mean, it's helpful that you've got Y points and you've got stuff that isn't out in TT120 yet.
Loose connection. So sorry about that.
What's Martin Parkinson say? As the newest comer to the hobby is gone, it moves so quickly, isn't it? I can't keep up with. I don't know how you do this. They just fly through.
Right, really sorry. We fixed the sound. A loose connection, which we were talking to ourselves. What were
we were talking about hoping that Pico will eventually expand their range of TT120 point systems, because I think that will really open up the real hobbyist model makers who want to go beyond the train set style of set track that you get from Hornby.
Yeah.
Not poo-pooing Hornby.
But the thing is, I mean, I remember talking with Pico a while ago when they were introducing the bullhead track, and the investment needed to tool up to do a new point is really quite big. So
Yeah.
obviously they've got to be in a comfortable position where they know the sails will be there to support it. So your basic left and right hand points, that's an obvious must for the range. They've got those, but for doing...
And they've got a crossover as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think, moving forward, you're talking about the cost of...
Sorry. Yes, Richard, we were. But it says in New Junction, you were just explaining what Akikuruso are doing in TT.
Yeah, you know that he's got a special button, and it's like...
I've seen the designs of his Deltic in TT 120. They are absolutely stunning.
As he said, you can tell everybody about that.
Shoot.
Oh, no, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. Let me just... I just realised, actually, I'm off the screen there. Sorry, but I think New Junction's got a button somewhere. And whenever we start talking about models that Akuroscale have planned but have not yet announced, he presses it and it sabotages the sound.
Good dad joke, DL Warren.
What's the point in Pico doing all that for the track? But no, hello to New Junction. We've got Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath, Valleys 56XX, Harry Cedric, DL Warren, Ivo Van Zon. So yes, you can use tillage track, but it is very expensive.
And it's the wrong code.
What is it?
It's not code 55.
So what?
So if you grew up being with your father in the 70s, beating you around the head with a long stick of streamline, saying this is the only track in the world that you should ever use, my son, then you're stuck with code 55, which actually I think looks really sweet.
Well, what code should it be to scale?
I don't know. I mean, Tilly used code 75, which actually fits in quite well with Hornby's code 80. Now, the code 55 is that's what they use for N-gauge, isn't it?
N-gauge fine scale. So coarse N-gauge is code 80.
Yeah.
But the fine scale is code 55. Although I learnt actually from Pico that it's the same height of rail. It's just the way it's moulded into the sleepers is different to be able to give it the strength. People are spotting the TARDIS now. There we are. TARDIS next to the signal boxes. Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath.
Wyvern Model Railway. A lot of people complain that there are not enough variety. It's gone again. I can't do this.
It does flick up quite quickly. Hello to Nudge, Little Britain, CP Model Railway, Patrick Ling, Alan Downing, Ben Tullett, Phil Yates. Ooh, TARDIS. Patrick Ling says, any news this week? I haven't said. I'll be honest with you. I'm quite spaced. I've been up since 2 a.m. because I've already done the day job. So I'm a little bit spaced at the moment.
Biggest news last week was I think Revolution.
Yes.
And bringing out those new wagons, which are incredibly detailed.
So I mean, is this, in your opinion, is this them dipping their toe just to see how it goes, or have they got a range in mind?
Have they got a master plan? Well, I think their master plan is to find out whether this works, and I think for them it seemed to be. Go for something that they know is sold in double O and N, and see how well it goes. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's the right thing for the TT market, because the TT market isn't established. It has a lot of newbies, but I still think anyone joining in now and putting any wagon out, they'll sell, because all the TT 120 community at the moment, we're all suffering from shiny kit disease. And also, a lot of them haven't been hammered into the era boxes yet. I think quite a lot of them are actually, like myself, are designing like New Junction's layout, where you've got a modern rail system and you've got
a preserved railway,
and you can run wherever you like.
Yeah, the good old rule one. I mean, it's a bit like this place. I mean, we've got all sorts going round, and all sorts rubbing shoulders.
Yeah.
And I think, I always call them the fun police. People go, oh, that never ran with that. And it's like, it's a toy. I'm having fun.
If I think if TT120 goes down a more focused route, I think it might possibly be that era 7 to almost modern, that era 9-10, where you've got, you just got a little bit of everything. There's all that BR stuff. That's what's sold really well so far.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the 3 Class 43 sets that went out, or the Swallow that came out first of all was good.
Yes.
The sooner they put on market the blue and yellow first, Intercity, bang, it's gone.
Yes.
And also their sets, the pre-order of a set, as I think Martin said, it was 4 times what they were expecting.
I can imagine. So were they able to increase the production run, or is it simply a case of they just sold out like that?
I think they have. But did you see last week they had the Hornby did their numbers, their year end,
Yeah.
and the projection or what they've sold, I think it's blown everyone away. It would have been even bigger if the issues in the Middle East hadn't caused the Class 50, which has sold fantastically well.
Yes.
The Duchesses, which have sold well, and the 21 ton, and also I think the HAAs. They are all, and a bunch of carriages. The Mark II E's or F, I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
None of those arrived in time for the numbers, and they've sold really well. So those numbers could have been even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hornby's had some great successes. I mean, it's almost become like a national sport amongst railway modelers to, let's bash Hornby. But actually, it's like slowly, they're climbing up and doing really well. With savvy choices of models, but also helped by TT120, has been a success.
Yeah.
And when I went down there, I was down at Hornby for 2 days, did an interview with Carl Hart, and talked with everybody there. What was very clear was that TT120 has been a success. It's sold well, and it has more than justified the investment.
Yeah. Harp House Halt. Have you been tempted to look at Continental TT locos and rolling stock? Yes. I have a Pico Flix train, which I've put the an 8-pin in, HM7 8-pin in. That looks great. But I've also, before the HST Class 43 came out, I bought an ice train from Gauge Master. I think they're the main importer. Got a HM7000 decoder and that, and a power bank and sound. And I guested that this year at Doncaster with a Market Wheaton Club, and they had the Dawlish, that South Coast Red Cliff, they built that, I think, with BRM, and they wanted to have HSTs running through it, but HSTs hadn't arrived in time.
Yeah.
So I popped down with the ice train, put a Union Jack on it because one of them did cross the channel once.
Yes.
To make it prototypical.
But I mean, are there other things like the USA dock tanks? Because I know that the actual locomotives ran in Yugoslavia, France, Germany. Does anybody do a model of that in TT? I know it is available in HO.
I don't know.
But I think there are types of locomotives which do look similar, if not much the same, as some of the.
Just for you, Stuart.
There we are. Stop throwing those.
But it's too hot up here.
It is quite warm, as Craig will attest. It's a very hot, humid day outside, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
We do have an ex-Tractor fan. He used to be into Massey Ferguson. Now he just sucks air out. Ex-Tractor fan. Dad joke. But 3B Rail actually has patiently asked, I think, several times about what's running. So I will point out that we've got a Bachmann 45. We've also got a Hellion, a Metropolitan Electric. It's number 9. I can't remember which one number 9 is. We've also got a Jubilee and one of the Hawthorne Leslies from Daypol. When I was at the DCC Concepts open day, open weekend, we were there on the Saturday, did a big live stream. I couldn't resist, and TMC, the Model Centre, were there. So I bought myself one of the Hawthorne Leslies. Where's it gone?
Horse. Yes, I have. They're packed.
And B. Mozza says, news, we're testing the new 7mm London and South Western Railway 12-ton machinery truck. Definitely one I'm looking forward to. I built the Hydra kit that Mozza Models did. Really, really good. So
looking 56 is having a go.
Oh? I note the preserved mainline locomotives run on concrete sleeper track. Disgraceful. I shall write a letter.
But it's prototypically correct, because if you go to the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, most of their main line is now concrete.
But I thought concrete sleepers started turning up in the 30s. They're not like... I mean, they weren't widespread for quite some time. But yeah, concrete sleepers were a thing from... Because I think there are concrete sleepers that are left where the Longmoor Military Railway used to be. Hi Fell says, greetings fellow modellers, TT120.
Yeah. And who else is here today?
Tim Mazza, Mark Towers, Emily loves her badge, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. It's brilliant. Of course, Mark Towers picked up some of the Monday Club badges, which you're wearing with pride. So we always give a Monday Club badge to all of our guests up here in the loft. We have to...
A little notepad.
A notepad. Did you bring one, or...?
No, don't worry. Scrap of paper. We've got to pass secret messages.
Secret messages? I haven't got anything, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. You carry on.
It's not as big as it looks up here. Stuart Hogben, big hello to you. ECML Electrics says TARDIS detected. Hi Fell. Read that one out. Is that Ilmson TT? I think we've got some of your crew in as well. I
think we have.
Yeah. Andrew Cleaver says, evening all, just had a chance to drop in for a bit.
I think Ben from Revolution Trains is watching. So I hope I haven't crossed the line yet, Ben. It says that Pico announced June 22 and Hornby announced October 22.
So fairly close.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm guessing...
But it is 3 years since Pico announced it.
Yeah. So, James Pett says it's not as big as it looks. Wide-angle lens joy. Not flattering, but there's a few people turning up a little bit late, so...
A Monday clubber is never late, Toto wagons, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
Thanks, Gandalf. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was quite a surprise when Revolution Trains announced that they were dipping their toe into the world of TT120.
And it was so welcome that I think people were surprised, but I'm absolutely, genuinely guaranteed from everyone that spoke to me, they were absolutely buzzing. Mm-hmm. The strange thing that I think a few people have done a few straw polls on the forums and on the Facebook pages, and I know that we're years ahead of ourselves when it comes to whether or not Revolution bring out a loco. But at the moment, that everyone seems to be wanting that kind of the DMU, and some of them are saying, I don't care, any DMU. Some of them are saying they like the DMU that covers quite a wide, like the 120, which is like from the 50s through the 90s. Yeah. But I think also the 175 and 180, which is the modern stuff, is very, very popular.
And I think it's because the practicality. A lot of people don't have a lot of space for their layout. So one of the things that I'm seeing is that people are going for more smaller layouts. And for that, you can't run like a 12, 14 coach train. You want something that can shuffle in to a small platform and then shuffle back out. I guess that's why in 00 gauge we've seen a lot of things like the class 153 and the 121s and the 122s do quite well.
And is it Kent Knill? Can Chris give us any new exclusive TT120 news? I can.
You can.
I can.
Oh! We're not breaking any embargoes, are we?
No, because I'm only breaking my own embargo.
Oh, right.
So I've taken this much money from, which basically that's how much money I've earned in AdSense, and I've taken this much money, which is how much money I've made from affiliated links. I've taken this much money, which I've got from sponsorship from Mounts Models and Westall Wagon Works. I've added that much on top of it myself, and I've ordered my own wagon from Pico.
Oh wow! So have you got a delivery date?
I think we're looking at the printed samples at some point nearing the end of August. So we'll be showing them off. I shall be sending you one for review.
Oh wow! Thanking you Because actually, I must admit, because you sent me some of the designs through, and I gave you a little bit of feedback
You did,
on the prop
and I listened to your feedback.
Yeah, are you happy? Was it good feedback?
It was good feedback. Which when I found that didn't cost
See?
when it didn't cost me any more money.
Yeah. I think I did see in there as well. It's gone off the screen, but
Peachy crisp delivery. No, nothing that naff. It is a Peachy exclusive, Peter. Yeah. But it's going to actually fit in with Era 3, Era 4, probably even earlier, Era 2, private ownership wagon. And it should. I wanted something that was going to be, would happily sort of sneak around in a rake of private owner wagons without looking too naff.
Now, David Watts says, a Peachy wagon, where can I order now since I missed out on the Shipley ones? Yeah,
right,
4
okay,
hours
so,
for them to shift. It was, people who say, oh, TT120 doesn't sell, Melt's models would care to differ.
Right, so everyone knows they are going to be, hello Jennifer, so they're going to be only through Melt's models, okay? He's also going to be launching, I think, 7 more wagons at the same time.
So they'll be exclusive to Melt's models as well, right? Yeah.
But he's going for a bigger number, and so the stock should be around for people to look at, to go and buy in the shop if that's what you want to do. But also, we're not going to hold it as a surprise like we did for the event. We're actually going to, as soon as we've got some pictures of the actual printed samples, then they'll be available for pre-order. And that will be a longer ramp-up time to when they're actually going to be actually.
So that'll
on
give
the shelves.
people time to actually put the orders in.
Yeah.
I mean, what I found with my own commissions is that it's quite often a good way to do it, where you have different points along the roadmap where you can show off samples, show off artwork, and then ultimately have the wagon arrive. And each one of these, you get a little peek of orders.
Yeah.
And I think people appreciate the time to save up. And I take it it's no money down until it actually arrives for delivery.
With Melt's models, there's no money down. You just, so at the very last minute, you can pull out of the order. The profit from
We'd prefer you not to, but
the very small profit from it will just go straight back into the next commission or the next giveaway. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of money you've got to put down, and there's not actually a lot of profit margin in it.
Yeah.
Especially after you've had someone like Brett at Melt's Models, who's obviously doing all the selling and doing all his own stuff.
He's got overheads.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some of that he needs to cover costs.
It wouldn't cover the service I've just spent on my son's 10-year-old Peugeot.
I mean, this is the thing that when people get all jealous, like, oh, how dare you, look at this, people are giving, and it's like, no, you're putting down the equivalent of a small...
See you, Mike.
See you later, Mike, TT120. Great having your company, and hopefully catch you later. But when you get people who are jealous about your channel, they make out as if like you're making a fortune. Nobody ever got rich off commissioning their own wagons. But it's a good way to put something back into the community.
Well, that's it. We're trying to give some people some more to support. I mean, I like box shifters. I like the TMC. I like the Sheffield. Now, and I like buying from Hornby online as well. It's really convenient. But I also like going to a shop.
Yes.
And doing things like this with Brett and Melt's models helps support the shop. Now, I'm not trying to say that I'm some kind of great white knight, because obviously most of the stuff he shifts is obviously still 00.
Yes.
But every little bit that we can all do helps.
Absolutely. And we always say we're a big champion here of support your local model shop, because it's use it or lose it. Unfortunately, we have lost a lot of local model shops over the last couple of decades. And if you don't use it, then when you really want to go and make use of it, they won't be there. So we always say support your local model shop. Also, I did see in the chat John JMC, our guru of sound. It's great to see you. I hope you're well. He joined right as we finished our 6-hour mammoth live stream, which is like we were there 6 hours, and he's like, oh, I'll see how your live. Oh, you just.
I got told off for watching it. My wife said, "Don't you have things to do? You're rather watching telly all day." I said, I'm doing the ironing. You've ironed 3 shirts in 2 hours.
I'm always reminded of there's that bit in Father Ted with Dougal, and he puts the broken TV over his head, and Father Jack goes, who put that gobshite on the telly? That's how I always feel when people say, I saw you on the telly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I'm stuck on your telly.
So, go back to what we were talking earlier about revolution trains dipping their toe in.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that people are also now going to be looking at this, and I'm hoping that people like Rapido and Cadillacs and there's a lot of other the small independents that could turn a hand at one of these. Something that they've already got CAD and research for. Yeah,
I mean, I think I guess everybody looks to some of the big players like Bachmann, but the problem I guess with Bachmann is they've just launched 016.5. They call it NG7, and they've already got 009. So it's like, but they are doing the scene craft for the Maltz model.
Yes and no. Again, that's one of the reasons why myself and I think why Revolution Trains chose Maltz special event to do to launch their 120 kind of like newscast was because Brad Maltz models again he's put his hand in his pocket and he's commissioned those Scalcraft buildings right now, and Bachmann, I think, are quite happy for him to do that. Most of those companies are quite happy to take a commission. But if you try to speak to the Icemen from Bachmann, if you manage to get a word out of them, they'll tell you that they have no interest in actually investing in anything. In
if Maltz sells them out and goes back and says they sold really well, can I order some more? I think that there'll be somebody at Bachmann who will take note at the very least and go, maybe we should have a think about whether it's in our interest. But I think you're right. Some of perhaps the smaller companies who are in a position to perhaps
2 seconds. I'm very jealous. Stuart Hogburn is in Lanzarote.
I do like the Canary Isles.
Get another gin in, Stuart.
Oh, I've got gin downstairs if you want one afterwards.
I'm driving.
David Watts says Southern Railway and GWR really need some love. New manufacturer could look there for a market. Part of the problem is when you start a new scale from the ground up, which effectively for UK outline, that's what's happened with TT120. Everybody keeps going, well, I want this, I want this, I want this, and it is a big investment in tooling. So it's going to take time for stuff to come through. And I'm reminded when I was a kid. The entire range of models on the market, there was like 8 or 9 different locomotives available, and you had to wait for decades for a new running number on that model to turn up. So I think there's this air of we've been a little bit spoiled, but they will come. And I think some of the obvious choices, I guess, for TT120, things like pannier tanks. I think small 040 locomotives might be a little bit of a push.
I think they need something in the middle. I think they need something like a Prairie or an A5, something that doesn't have a tender, something that will fit easily onto Pico's small turntable, something that is big enough to be able to take the kit we want inside them.
Yeah.
With the little J50 and the little 008, you've got to be creative to get the kit in. Right.
Yeah, so because I've not actually had a play with either of those. The Hornby Next 18 TXS decoder, does that fit in them?
No, they're both designed to fit the 6-pin, but I've got 8 pins in my 08s. You need a little bit of trimming, a little bit of slimming. So you
effectively hardwire them in?
Yeah, well actually my first batch of 08s were done by a guy called Richard from This Way Works.
Right.
And he's done lighting, sounds. Because he's done it on an N-gauge, he thought it'd be fun to do one in TT120.
Yeah.
Since then, I've then shoehorned some 8 pins into a number of other ones as well. Mm-hmm. I haven't actually gone down the route of hard wiring to a decoder. Apart from the 8-pin one is an easy one because you've got the wires there already.
So it's actually quite easy to put a 6-pin plug on the end of some of those wires.
The 18-pin's a bit different, isn't it? Because it's the next one. And I'm not so convinced that I can solder onto an 18 next pin without buggering up and then
Well, they
lose
do
my
do-
warranty on it.
You can get a breakout board
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
effectively it's a Next 18 socket,
Yeah.
but just with little solder tabs down the side,
Yeah.
so that you can solder your wires to that,
Yeah.
and then the decoder is untouched. It just plugs into, effectively you're adding a
yeah.
socket to a loco. But the TXS decoders will get smaller. Hornby have promised that. Essentially, the first ones are bigger due to issues tracking down components, and in particular the Bluetooth aerial. So what they've done is, because the supply issues, they've gone for kind of a previous generation of components, which are naturally bigger. So they will get smaller.
Yeah.
So I think people are going, oh, these chips are huge. How can this possibly be any good? The next generation will be smaller.
Yeah.
And the 6-pin will eventually come through.
Well, I think that's due October, November. So hopefully that'll happen when the J50 lands, which is again about the same sort of time.
But I think it's gone off the top. I want to name check the person who said David Watts suggests the 264 tank, and actually that was the one when you said you need a bigger tank.
Yeah.
That's actually the one I immediately thought of. The
Because
standard class 4.
because then you've got a whole bunch of BR. I mean, they're pretty much not everywhere, but you could easily argue that it can visit your layout, can't you?
And can I just Mac Navi also reminds us Tramfabrique does actually have those Next 18 breakout boards.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to,
Are we talking about their power banks, or are you doing that in another video?
I've mentioned them in a previous video. I've got a video to film on them, but yeah. How did you get on with it?
This Friday's video is I'm going to look at all the current DCC concepts, the 2 from Hornby, because you loaned me one of the small ones.
Yes.
And also Tramfabrique's one, or Trainomatics one, which comes here via
Tramfabrique's the UK stockist. So
Yeah.
have you tried, because there's 2 different sizes, did you
Yeah.
just try the smaller one, or did you try the slightly larger one as well?
I wanted to fit a power bank into the 50 without messing up the sound chamber. Now I did fit a DCC Concepts one in, and I changed the sound chamber. I just took it out and put one of the small ones in.
Yes.
Did a side-by-side comparison, and it's apples and oranges. The original sound box that Hornby had designed sounds brilliant. The little box as a replacement, so I can get a power bank in.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound anywhere near as good. So I wanted to try and work out a way of getting a power bank in there without me mucking about with the sound box. And now Trainomatic, or because of Tramfabrique asking for it, they're now supplying it with the correct plug for 187,000 already pre-wired.
I think that'll be a game changer.
Yeah.
Certainly, that's the DCC Concepts with the AE models range.
Yeah.
They're moving over to using exactly the same plugs, so that theirs will be interchangeable.
And it
with
works
the
with
Hornby
HM7000. It meant that I could put these 2 small pots in the doorways of the Class 50. It only gives you sort of 3 seconds of, but then all I'm after is because I'm not after the traditional, running problems on the track.
Put it on a plank and see how far it goes.
All I want is to hang on to that Bluetooth connectivity.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've struggled with. I know some people haven't struggled with it.
But the
that's
thing
what I've
is,
struggled with.
it's that peace of mind when it's going over, say, like the Insulfrog points, things like that.
Yeah.
A little bit of momentary dirt on the track. And I know there's people out there who are like, oh, well, if you lay your track properly, you don't need to stay. And it's like, no, here in the real world, they're a great insurance.
And there's a very good reason for it. And that is that the locos that have lots, in Pacifics, I've got 7 axles, with all those pickups. 7 times, you've got a chance of that chip deciding when you go over a plastic Insulfrog that something's wrong.
Yeah.
And when that chip decides something's wrong, its self-protection circuit comes in, turns itself off, Bluetooth's gone.
Yes.
You've got to turn everything on and on again, off and on again.
And certainly if you've got a lot of locomotives, sometimes you can be waiting for anywhere up to 30 seconds for the Bluetooth to reconnect.
Yeah. Although I must say, with Peachy 7000, when I've got because I've got a shed that holds 8 locos, if I've got them all on there, they build up their own kind of mesh,
Yeah.
and the signal's much stronger. If I want to run one loco on its own, then I have issues.
And that's actually, of being a bit of a techno weenie, I hadn't realised this with the Bluetooth, that the more locomotives you've got on the track and connected, they all kind of act almost like Bluetooth extender.
Yeah.
So they actually connect more reliably the more locomotives you have. And it turns out that also works for Wi-Fi range extenders.
Right, okay.
When I learned this, I had like bulk order of Wi-Fi range extenders and just put them all over the house, because it means that your Wi-Fi is much more reliable.
When BT would give them out free, I kept asking for more. And they said, "You already had 5." I said, "My dog's chewed 3, and I have some more." So now I've got 8 around my house. So I now get decent Wi-Fi in my workshop.
So what if you like daisy chained them down the garden or something?
Basically.
Oh, we're at a point now where we get decent signal outside, because we've done a little bit of that where it's like, well, this is now at the limit, so we've now extended. And John JMC, the guru of sound, says that's the Bluetooth version they use. Valley's 56XX says paint the back of your loco wheels with lacquer. It stops shorts on points. And it's not really the shorts as much as that momentary loss of power.
It's a little dip for one of the connections. Also, that someone else in the what's that little group of special group that you've got that does the testing?
Oh, the beta testers.
Yeah. Someone said that is an issue now. Whether that's being ironed out, I don't know. But I do know that the moment I put a small power bank into a HM7000 equipped loco, it runs superbly and impeccably. So for £15 or £18 or whatever they are these days.
And it's for aggro free running. I mean, I've got a Jubilee rushing around here, and there's one point. It's not a dead spot, but for some reason that Jubilee and that point don't like each other. And if all I would need would be a little stay alive, it's behaving itself now. But all I need is a tiny little stay alive in there, and that problem disappears. And it's just little things like that. And yes, I know people say, "Oh, if you laid your track properly, it wouldn't." But it's like, it doesn't work like that.
Wheel spacing. I must admit, if you do go back round over the Hornbys and you do the back-to-backs, I think as Ivo Van Zon was saying, then that also reduces the amount of issues we have. But it's all a learning. The thing is that there's a lot of things that people who've been doing this for a while can pick up on and deal with quite quickly. Newbies, they buy something out of the box, put it on the track and go, why am I having these problems? But I don't understand it, because you never had those problems in the old days of DC.
Yeah, because in DC it kind of bludgeoned its way through. But I think the problem is that the kind of
until class 50. There you go. Sorry.
It's like the boot up of the decoder. If the decoder loses power, it goes through the startup process again. Yeah. Whereas on DC, it would get a momentary loss, and the actual momentum in the motor would carry it across if it was running fast enough. Just having a Raymond Legg says my old UF SNCF loco does not like insulated frogs. I think some of the older stock tend to have slightly coarser flanges, which can have issues.
Yeah. Especially on the Pico Code 55, they ride over the guide rails and the points.
Right.
So I bought some old Tilly stuff with a plan of trying to do put some Lincoln Loco kit on them, 3D printed stuff. But it was just too much hassle.
Up well and onwards, great to see you. Hope you are well. Griffey says best thing to do FRN scale isn't stay alive, it's to power every single piece of track. But I mean,
well, that's the thing is that
the thing is
I power every single piece of track,
and
and it's not about power to the track when you're using the Bluetooth connectivity, because if you're only using HM7000 with Bluetooth, the issue is that Bluetooth connectivity. Yeah. For some people, not everyone. And I promise you, having been a professional model maker for 35 years and having built a number of model railways for people, I do know how to lay track. I do know how to wire. I do know. I know my track laying etiquette is of a very good standard, I would say. I know how to play around with a loco, work out what's wrong with it, do the make sure it's clean, make sure it serves properly. make sure that the back-to-backs are fine. The only thing I couldn't deal with was the fact that the decoder was trying to protect itself when it thought there was a bank patch. And since putting a power bank in, I haven't got to worry about whether or not it's because of my lighting. Some people say it's because of fluorescent tubes that affect the Bluetooth mesh, but I don't know.
Not had any issues there, but Ivo Vans on says DCC is far quicker in reacting to shorts. I found that, and it just kind of, it's almost like it just stops and then it runs through the startup again, which is very noticeable, especially if you've got sound running. Because it triggers a restart on the sound, which can be quite infuriating. So it's just peace of mind. And even if your track is absolutely perfect with droppers on every piece, sometimes you just get some locomotives that'll sit there and go, I am somehow insulated from the track underneath me. It's particularly with short wheelbase. Although I'm going to have to give a shout out to the Daypole Hawthorne Leslie. It's a very short wheelbase 040. There's no stay alive in that, and that is running around like an absolute champ.
It's a little cracker, isn't it?
Yeah. So really quite impressed with that. But not every locomotive is necessarily that way inclined, and you get a bit of a build-up of dirt, which can happen, especially when you're in a we get a lot of humid weather in summer over here, and humidity can be a bit of a kicker. It just creates gunge on your track.
Speed Moses saying it can switch Wi-Fi and Bluetooth off on the new PC as it stops the card machine working.
Oh, as in like they put card in and pin number, because it's Mozilla models, B Mozilla, it's Mozilla models. I must admit, when I was at Key Model World, there was a lot of interference in that hall, and I don't know whether that was affecting people who were running TXS decoders. I know certainly that is it Megapoints that the Making Tracks thing uses? They had huge issues. And when we got back, we found that all of our audio recorded with radio mics was ruined because you could hear the interference spiking on it, which was quite peculiar. But it made me wonder if there was anybody there who was trying to use TXS decoders, whether they found they were affected by the interference at Key Model World Live.
I think Richard Grutters has been fed up with getting turned off and on again.
It says, can you get a power bank for people? I think I need one. Yeah, it's called a can of Monster Energy. But if you fit too many, you start to see through time. Upwell and Onwards says, since track laying has been mentioned, any tips on replacing a point when the track's been heavily ballasted for 20 plus years?
Chisel? No, actually, if it's been glued down, you can use... There are now things like... I can't remember the brand name of it now, but it's a lemon or citrus-based sprays that are for clearing adhesive. And if you spray anything like PVA or hot glue or everything bar super glue with this citrus adhesive cleaner, it weakens all the ballast, and then you can you'll find it more easy to prise up. But whatever you do, you can end up making a bit of a mess, which is okay because it's model making. You can just fill it, clean it up, and crack on. What
I would say is, it all depends on how your track's fastened down. But my experience, and I did have a double slip that failed. Basically, one of the rails broke off. The plastic base went brittle. And it's like, oh, what am I going to do? This is like well ballasted in the middle of a complicated junction. But because I used PVA for my ballast, you can actually soften PVA. If you get a mug of boiling water and a syringe, and you just carefully syringe boiling water onto your ballast, it turns it back into its sort of softens form.
Enough for you to be able to pull it off.
And then just use something like, I used a little Dremel with a very tiny disc to cut the fish plates. And then I was actually able to lift the entire point out without damaging the surrounding point work.
Good point from Groovy.
Yeah.
Soaking isopropyl alcohol, do that as well.
Yes. Great
although
stuff.
I did that recently, and I forgot that the foam that was the foam that I'd laid my track on was also glued down with an adhesive, and so everything lifted up.
It's even worse if it just dissolves your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Name a gamer YT, big hello to you. There's some degree of lateness being demonstrated, so Gandalf has phoned in his performance.
Nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
Thanks, Gandalf. Oh, we've got Mark Wilson, the waxer of the DeLorean in. I just seen somebody saying
Richard,
hello.
The citrus-based adhesive cleaner, you can Google it or look on Amazon. That will attack the old fishy glue. It basically is designed to attack contact adhesive.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think we've got Chris Eden Green in as well. Great to see you. Hope you are well. Sarah Davis says, get a xenomorph to bleed a little over the connections. No, you don't just want a big hole in your baseboard and floor and chest. But no, there's ways of doing it. And yeah, Valley's 56XX says, cut some sleeper ties off and you can slide the fish plates along the rail. So effectively you slide the fish plate back, drop the new piece of track in, and then slide the fish plate into place is a good way of doing it. It's a little bit fiddly, but it does work. I've done it with a double slip, and it saves you having to cause so much mayhem to the rest of the layout.
Yeah. I must with mine. I'd cut mine with a Dremel, and then when I put it back in, didn't use fish plates. I just soldered them together.
You can do that as well.
And then file the rails back so they're nice and clean.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. Although, bear in mind, if you solder everything together, if you have another problem, you've created a bigger issue to remove the next time. Big hello to Timber Surf. Great to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Couldn't you use a Dremel with a cutter tool, Sarah Davis? Yeah, I use that to get through the fish plates. It also works, actually, if you've previously soldered the fish plates. You can get through with a Dremel. But in terms of getting it up through the glue, there's various ways of softening the glue. Mark Wilson, waxer of the DeLorean, says, Jenny, my question was regarding the TT couplers that seem odd, European style. Why?
Because that's the biggest market. It's huge. It's bigger than British N-Gauge.
So, I mean, how big are the sales into Europe of UK outline stuff in TT120?
I don't know. I've seen a recent upsurge in Hungarian and German viewers. Of I've got subscribers from Holland or the Netherlands and Belgium and France and Spain. Some of those are expats, but some of those are people who are like, I don't know, who maybe have got some British heritage somewhere. I've even got subscribers in India. And obviously Australia as well, and
Australia is
Canada,
a big market,
and a couple of our cousins across the pond in America. But I think those couples, they're cheap. They fit with a lot of the that's what the Arnold range came out with.
Yeah,
and of course having an M socket, it means that we can actually decide what we want to do. I mean, initially the Hornby's NEM socket was a little bit shallower than the original. So when you've got the stuff from, I don't know, like Western Wagon Works, they didn't quite fit, you had to trim them. The Western Wagon Works have now redesigned their couplings so that they now fit the Hornby socket. But I use the magnets in between my triplets at the end, and on my locos I've got the Daypole Easy Shunts, which are tricky, but once you've got them right, I think they're great.
And I suppose it pays to not try and rock the world by coming up with your own coupling system. You might as well go with what everybody else is using. Same reason that when a new manufacturer comes into the market in 00, they use tension locks, because that's what everybody else is using. Why rock the boat? And as long as they go into a universal type socket, then people can change them for whatever they want.
Absolutely.
Upwell and onwards. Talking to Flymo Chairman 1. Jennifer Horton says TT120 is huge in East Germany. I guess it was the Eastern Bloc equivalent of 00.
They're very excited by Revolution over there.
Are those wagons also used elsewhere in Europe? That design?
I'm not so. I mean, if Ben is watching, I wish you'd mention on here, but. If you speak to Revolution trains, they've got a bunch of stuff in their range that is continental friendly too.
Right.
Particularly their ferry wagons. I think possibly some of the car wagons. I'm not exactly sure. There's so much information there.
I mean, I suppose you could also remember that.
The 66s one.
The 66 is definitely one which will sell out into Europe. But then I guess there's also a market for Flying Scotsman, Mallard. You know, they're famous trains.
Yeah.
So you know, there's going to be a demand for them. But
I better check.
You're right there.
Yeah, sorry. My asthma's playing up. Sorry, guys.
Oh, is it? Because it is quite hot up here. Is it just?
I'm fine.
Mark Wilson, the waxer of the DeLorean, says, Peachy, do you own any of the original TT 1960s range? But they're not TT 120. They're TT3. No. And I'm guessing that they probably look quite hideous side by side.
Yeah, I've got a Ginty, which I was looking at to try to see if I could actually. Back in 2 years ago when it all came out, all of a sudden, we had the Pacifics, and that was it. And so, as a model maker, you start looking around for other ideas.
Yes.
So, but I found the wheels a bit too much of an issue with the Pico track. They're fine on the Hornby track.
Yeah.
Because
the flanges were incredibly coarse back then.
Yeah, and my dad had a whole bunch of it.
Yeah.
And I think when he built my first layout in 1972, I remember him bemoaning the fact that he couldn't get hold of it anywhere anymore because we don't have access to eBay like you do now.
Yes.
It was. Did your local shop have some? No. End of. That was it.
Yeah, I mean that's some of these youngsters don't know they're born. I mean, I remember the world pre-internet, and it was basically pot luck what turned up in your local model shop and in the second-hand section.
Ask Ivo Van Zon. So where are you in Europe? See what your replies to us.
Yeah, it says Class 66 is quite common here, but ours have air conditioning fitted, so they no longer can operate in the UK. I think UK drivers. I know Wardle Restoration normally pops in from time to time, but I think UK drivers would quite appreciate air conditioning. Right. It may be that if there's like an external radiator for that, it takes them out of gauge.
Right.
Would be what I'm guessing. Zantac says you could use old 00 wheels to carve a pizza. Well, that was the thing with N-gauge. They used to be called pizza cutter wheels. But when I've tried running Hornby 00 on layouts like this, I always say it feels a lot like they're just bludgeoning their way through the track.
Ivo's one of my Dutch fans.
The Netherlands.
If you subscribe to my channel.
Ivo Van Zon, been a regular on the Monday Club for quite some time. Right. Nomad Railway says, Peachy, question for you. I bought a Hornby Class 55 last week with HM7000 factory fitted, not out of the box yet. Will it have the sound file blown onto the chip before it leaves the factory? Yes, I can answer that. Yes, it does. Because I got one of those. I did a full review on the Hornby Railroad TXS fitted locomotive, and they come pre-installed, so out of the box you don't need to do anything. David Watts says Lima had pizza cutters, but different standards. I mean, back in the 50s and 60s, track was generally code 123 or 124 was the standard,
right,
and code 100 was considered fine scale.
Air conditioning and horns are often moved to the roof of a Continental Class 66, which will make it too tall, wouldn't it?
So it basically puts it out of gauge. Jennifer Horton says, I know Isle of Man modelers are waiting for a suitable four-coupled chassis to appear in TT120 to make Manx 240s in OON3. I suppose 240, that'd be something like an E4. I think it's the E4 is the only one of the 240 wheel arrangements that the LNER had that made it to BR ownership with one preserved, but also the BT well tank ran with that.
Richard Brighton, question, should we make a smaller AE model stay alive for TT? Let me know. Richard, there's a video going out this Friday where I look at everyone's stay alives. Yes, I think you could make a smaller one.
I don't know whether.
And, do you know what? I think maybe I should come over and see you guys, and bring some bits and bats.
Richard Brighton says, question, shall we make... yes, I think you should, and I suspect you probably will. I think the consumer likes to have a range, not least because I was actually talking with Richard Johnson of DCC Concepts about this, that strictly speaking, Stay Alives don't need to have this thing where it's like, oh look, I can put my model on the table and off it goes. But the consumers become fascinated with how far it will go, to the point where there's demand for Stay Alives that allow that because the consumer has decided that is a good thing.
Yeah.
But actually, when you've got smaller models, certainly when it comes into play with TT120.
Richard, I'll bring all the locos over, and a measuring stick, and we'll have a chat.
Now, Richard Brighton, a question for you. Can you direct solder the Stay Alives, the Zen Stay Alives, without their charging board? If you just take the Stay Alives themselves, would they work like your AE Stay Alive, or is that not a good thing to do, to just effectively solder the capacitors direct to the board? I suspect it needs a little bit of circuitry, which it's not going to have, because that's going to be in the control board. But I am curious, Richard, if you've got any information on that. David Watts says smaller Stay Alive is a yes. And I think there's always going to be locomotives for which people, they don't want the aggro of carving bits out and having to really delve into it. And you know, there's certain, even in 00, there's locomotives like the Class 71. I've been able to do a full HM7000 plus the older style large power bank. I've been able to fit all that in, but you have to practically dismantle the locomotive to do it. And I think the average user doesn't want to do that. Richard Brighton says, not the Zen Stay Alives. The cap alone would blow the decoder with... right. So good advice there. Don't listen to Jenny, for she knows nothing. And Iron Horse Railway says, no, don't do that, Jen. It'll go pop. I was just asking hypothetically.
Sorry, Pim, I didn't realise you're one of our Dutch cousins.
And
you're
Flymo,
welcome, and thank you for subscribing.
And Flymo Chairman once just posted a link there, Jenny's complete HM7000 guide. So, yeah, Richard Brown says the AE Stay Alives have the control board under the caps rather than having a separate component. But you know, it's amazing actually what the Stay Alives can actually do.
If I was designing a Stay Alive, I would have, number one, I would have a socket that goes into HM7000.
Yes.
Remember, I'm only talking from me as a TT120.
I think because soldering is like voodoo to a lot of people. They're just not interested in doing it. So having that plug is a game changer.
I would have the same thin wires.
Why is this mouse hanging out of the...
It fell off when
I
was trying to plug in. The power became unplugged on the thing.
Oh, so you knocked everything off?
Yeah, whilst I was panicking and flailing about, and people were going, it sounds like the ghost of Iron Horse Railways, because you know it went.
I would also have the board and the
drink?
capacitors.
I'm good, but thank you.
I would have them on a flexible wire, the capacitors, with a good length, maybe 3 to 5 centimetres, separately wrapped up, so that you've got these things that you can shuffle around wherever you want.
Yeah, because quite often the space is there, but it's like
but when
here,
it's all
there, and
put
everywhere.
together with one seal over it, then it becomes.
Yes. And I think that was one of the
restricted.
reasons why Hornby are doing the smaller power bank, because the original one, the kind of locomotives that needed it more than anything else, you couldn't find that big chunk of space to put it in. Although, just so people know, the 00 gauge Gronk...
I've got the best idea for how to do a Stay Alive.
What?
Disguise it as a fat train driver.
Or 2 fat train drivers.
Yeah.
Or 3 fat train
And
drivers.
just stand it in the driver's thing, and the wire goes down his leg and then into the system.
Well, you heard it here first.
You know the argument about weight in these locos?
Yes.
When I've cut into the chassis, into the white metal casting, to make space, I did that in the ice train to make space for the decoder and a power and a stair light. The amount of weight I cut out was a matter of a few grams.
Yeah, it's
And
negligible.
then there was always enough space somewhere else for me to put a considerable amount of more weight in lead, which obviously the manufacturers can't do.
Yes.
But us as individuals, we can put lead in.
And actually, DCC Concepts, I bought some of the lead shot that they sell over the weekend. And I've been gleefully adding that to various things. It's brilliant stuff. But yeah, manufacturers aren't allowed to use lead in that way. But you as a consumer...
Yes, Richard.
Fill your boots. Richard Bright says, yes, this is what we did with the Zen stair lives. We could look at a possibility for 2-wire stair lives if you think a separate control board would work.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'll pop up some locos and have a chat with Richard.
Yeah, because you're over in East Riding, so it's probably not too bad to get there. You just go on the A59.
There's a number of pleasurable routes to get to where those guys are.
Yeah, Flyway Chain 1 says suggests old .22 pellets.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's just easier to buy lead shot.
In fact, a lot of the lead shot you now get in fishing shops isn't pure lead, is it? Because of about not poisoning the rivers.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not quite
you
sure
don't
what
want.
it is, but it's still weighty.
Yeah, it'll be an alloy mixed with something else, I guess.
Something heavy.
I do know that DCC Concepts, the lead shot that they sell, is a particularly high grade of lead because they've also supplied various medical companies that use it to weight down medical equipment, and it needs to be a certain purity. Yeah. So it's good stuff. Just don't eat it.
Yeah.
Highfell says, be careful using PVA to set lead. It can cause some body mouldings. I've heard that there's a chemical in PVA that reacts with the lead, creating an oxide or some kind of salt of lead, which it's a bit like, when you see concrete spalling because the rebar is rusted.
Right.
It's that kind of thing, but it effectively expands. And if it's tight inside something in your model, it will just break it.
Yeah.
Kind of like another version of the old zinc mazzot rock.
Right.
But I've never experienced that firsthand, but I've heard it said a few times.
Yeah.
And Griffey says car wheel weights aren't lead anymore. I mean, there are other very dense metals. It's one of the reasons that a lot of chassis blocks, they went over to tungsten. Right. Because that's quite weighty, but it's you can lick it and you don't get heavy metal poisoning.
Something I'm worried about, that I'm concerned about, is that are we being as amusing as when Craig's here?
I don't know.
I don't know if we are. Well, we haven't been farting as much.
Well, no, either that or silent but deadly.
Well, she's gone. She's left the building.
Silent but deadly's gone. Little Britain says, whatever it is, it's soft and heavy. Well, you can make some quite soft alloys of various metals quite easily.
Can I ask a question? They can't see this, but your storage yard, when does that come up? Does it come up through here?
Yes. Yeah.
This layout really is superb.
And those storage sidings, I just say, they go round, and this entire bit here, those storage sidings fan out here, and there's something like 14 tracks wide.
What happens when your knees go? How can you get underneath there? Or you just send Zoe in?
I set the points and send a loco down to drag the stuff out, and I just end up... I've got a Class 25 that runs with the power base magnets, and it'll drag like a 14-coach train out.
Right. What's the rail joiners?
What's that? Richard Brighton says, ask Craig if he's...
I don't know. It must be part of his special brand of humour, which is uniquely different.
And Anth Knill, I never know how to pronounce it. Anth Knill says, I think Jenny needs to have a go at Chris Tin Pot.
Have a go at Chris's Tin Pot.
Stop throwing those bloody spears at me. All right.
Or there's the other one, which is.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Heinkel's. Thousands of them. So that was my Battle of Britain reference.
Storm Bowman says, Jenny, do you have a video where you go through the length? Yeah, I've done a few. And
You should start that down in the storage yard.
I have done. There's like an onboard
Well, I haven't seen it, so you need to do it again.
Well, you have to go looking for it. Dr. Deborah Catherine Stevenson Jones says, roofing lead sheet offcuts, new and sold by the kg, inexpensively, easy to go. I've actually got a big slab of when they built my conservatory. There was like all these bits of lead flashing would turn up on the floor.
Right.
And I just, of an evening, I'd go out and pick them all up and chuck them in the shed. Because I knew that the roofer would just weigh them in for scrap at the end.
100%.
But I was paying for them. So it's like, well, I'm having them. And so I've got a big pile of offcuts of lead flashing.
So some of them are being using. 56 is being using.
Not a lot of people
know
know
that.
that. I don't think he ever actually said that. Marno,
No.
it's Michael Caine.
I don't think he did.
He never said that. The closest he ever got was, my name is, and then the woman in the car goes, Alfie!
That's it.
The other Michael Caine quote, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Yeah. Very good impersonation.
Who, you or me?
You.
Me? Stop throwing those bloody spears at me. All right?
Yeah.
I don't think he ever said that. John Walter says, hello there. Sorry I'm late. Oh, there's a few degrees of lateness. Don't forget...
A Monday clobber is never late, Toto Wackens, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
Do you know why I thought that we weren't being as funny as Craig?
Uh-huh.
Because I've not heard any clowns laughing at us.
Oh, the clowns. Oh, hold on. Let me find the clowns. I've got to work out which locomotive they hide in. Right. Let's go. Let's see. Oh. That's as close as I can get. It doesn't seem happy when you jab the buttons like.
Do we only get clowns when Zoe's here? Basically.
Zoe is a clown,
Right.
in disguise. But you've not been regaled in her invisible clown form.
Oh dear, here comes the clown.
Oh, right.
I
Here
heard
comes
an
the
insult there.
Here come the clowns. Send in the
clowns.
clowns.
I heard an insult. You were saying I was a clown in disguise.
As the tumble of clowns turned up.
Take care, Pim.
Take care. It's been great having your company, and hopefully, not Lobia Model World as well is in. Les has escaped from the Jablight dungeon. James Petts says, Peachy, send in the clowns. Jenny, hold my clown horn. And there's always a straggler. There's one with a trombone as well.
And there was me for the past year thinking you actually recorded that.
No. We did actually try and do it. Actually, I should offer you one of your biscuits.
Oh, I'll see. If my wife is watching this, I'll be told off if I eat a chocolate biscuit
All right.
because of my diabetes.
Oh, right. Well, in that case,
They're all for you.
you talk to the nice people. Then I'll get busy with
Peachy,
these.
as the choice. So Mark Wilson says, Peachy, as the choice is still limited, are you sticking to a particular era, or are you collecting both steam and diesel? I'm buying the lot. My plan is, I've got a little garage, the sort of kind of garage that's handy for a Morris Minor, and nothing much else. And so I've got a drawing already ready for that in any rail for a place with a storage yard underneath, a background loop for Modern Era 11, and then having a single track based on the North Yorkshire Moors running through, and possibly a little museum so I can have all my locos on display. And it's inspired by New Junction, really, of having that idea of having your cake and eating it. And I think quite a few TT120s are going in that range, because if you go era specific currently with TT120, you're looking at only one or two locos per era. Arguably, you've got a number of paint finishes, but again, they stretch over the various eras, so it's quite hard at the moment to focus on one era.
Name a game of Whitey says, Jenny, throw a chocolate biscuit my way, please, so I can drink it in my hot chocolate. Okay, catch. Did you catch it? And Richard Brighton says, I have a bone to pick with you, Jenny. Where are my double-deckers? I completely forgot. I did promise him I'd take some double-deckers. I tell you what, Richard, what you need to do is come on down one Monday night, and we'll do a Monday Night Live here with Richard Brighton from DCC Concepts, and you can eat your own body weight in double-deckers.
Except you won't be able to get back down the hatch.
It is. I do need to replace that ladder. I've been needing to replace that ladder for about 15 years. James Petts says, I approve of having cake and eating it. And cake generally. Well, of
What's the point
course.
of having a cake if you can't eat
He's
it?
quite a sensible fellow, this James Petts, isn't he?
David Watts says, I'm keeping my TT era specific simply to save my wallet.
Which era are you going for, David?
See, the models which really piqued my interest are the 08 and the J50. Now, the J50, I know a lot of people said, oh, it's an unusual choice.
Yeah.
But they've already done all the CAD work because they've got a wonderful model in 00. So you kind of half the battle is already there, the research and the CADs and stuff. But I quite
These are
like...
far too nice.
They are nice, actually.
You should not have opened these, and you should not have brought them.
I would say, actually...
They are very nice, thank you.
They are. Not right now, but thank you very much. The J50...
Does that mean that code will save me some?
Yeah, it's like basically Gandalf has found the biscuits. But no,
No, hang on. He's going to keep his era specific and returns with 3, 4, and 5.
and maybe a bit of 6 and 2. I'm actually curious whether some of the things like locomotion number 1 might turn up in TT. To be honest, I'm amazed that they can make it work in 00.
Yeah.
So, we are now on to the portion of the video where we do. It's gone quick, hasn't it?
It's fun.
And that's it. When you have a good time, that always goes quick. It's a good job I turned to you there, and you didn't go. No, it's been dragging, really, to be honest with you.
I felt like leaving, but I thought it would be impolite.
Yeah, I felt like leaving, but I didn't know how to get down the ladder.
Yeah. I'm trapped.
So, first video up. So this is Colin Weaver. Says, hi, Zoe and Jenny. Hello. My Isle of Wight Terrier. Ah, yes, the Isle of Wight Terrier arrived this week. So a quick video was a must. However, as just across the Solent would have been the London and South Western Railway, I created a Southern Hampshire Isle of Wight pre-grouping running session. Actually, a terrier is quite a small loco. I wonder how that would scale down into TT120 as a southern loco. I suspect they might get a little bit on the small side because the terriers were a very, very small locomotive.
Now, this looks like the kind of thing that you like, Jen.
I also like the H-class in the background. Actually that locomotive in the background, I've got one right there. Sorry, I just burped away. Oh look, the black one on the back.
That's interesting. What's that on the ground?
That's something else that I really hope that that the guys at Hornby sort out is consisting via Bluetooth HM7000.
It's being worked on.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it already with a dongle and if you rig it up to an Elite or something.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think.
And also, I want to see a split screen.
TARDIS.
So that you can have both ends of your loco if you've got HST.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
I mean, there's one of the things that you can do is feedback
really nice.
on the Hornby forum. They've got a section for providing feedback, and certainly that is a good idea.
I like the
But
look
yeah,
of that.
consisting is being worked on. And I've seen some people criticise, oh, they shouldn't have released it if all the bugs aren't worked out, and it's like
That's not how anything
that's
works.
that's not how commercial releases work.
That's not how anything
And
works.
to be honest, 99% of people are well happy with TXS.
That's what I want. I want curved points.
Yep.
Yeah, they are very, very useful.
Great for space saving.
I suppose your only option at the moment would be something like Tillig.
Or making your own.
Yeah.
And not everyone wants to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like. I tried making track. It wasn't for me. Now the Isle of Wight Central number 11 there, that one came with a train pack of 3 4-wheel coaches and IWC livery. Really do like it. It's one I've not got. I must look out for them on the second-hand market. They have proven very popular and sold out. But the Isle of Wight Central Railway red one there, number 10, I had to buy that. I'm sorry. It pushed my shiny buttons. But they are lovely models.
They really are.
And I think outside of the Class 08 Shunter, they probably carried more liveries than anything else. Yeah, when you see there's 2 different liveries just from Isle of Wight Central Railway, which would probably be considered quite an obscure pre-grouping railway company.
I do love the old Pico back scenes.
I think
Way back.
they are pretty nice. Oh, there's the O2 and the T9. I love those coaches. They actually.
That's a weird looking colour for a coach. It looks
salmon and
sun-faded.
brown. It's London and South Western Railway, and they were released by EFE Rail in that livery.
Is it just me, or does it look like a red and black coach was left out in the sun?
No, I mean that was the genuine livery. It's very eye-catching.
Hiya JD 1533 Workshop.
Lizzie Beard Locomotive says goodbye. Look, you take care, and thanks for coming. Do you take care? David Watts says curved points are renowned for being temperamental. Yeah, I would agree with that to some extent. Yeah. JD1533 Workshop says hello, Jen and Peachy from Queens in New York Central. Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase says terriers are lovely locos. So yeah, New York. There's
a lot of. Thanks. Sorry, I like these little sheds and things like that. What are those? They're just buffer stops that are sat on the edge to stop.
They're just little runoffs for his turntable.
Right. That makes
I think
sense.
that's
like
if the driver accidentally pushes the gear lever the wrong way. It's got something to bounce off.
It's just adding extra little bits. That's just nice. I like it. There's a lot going on here.
I like the multiple levels and great use of the retaining walls.
It's like we always say, the world is not flat, so we need railways going on different levels.
I do like that livery. I must get myself a set of those at some point. The problem is there's too many nice things, and I suppose with TT120, and because the range is still relatively in its infancy, it's easier not to get sort of like swamped by.
Can you? Yeah.
Nomad Railway. Who are you on the forum then?
Do you want to check that screen's come up?
Nope.
There we are. It has come up. Right.
I am a burger. I know.
James Petts. The world is not flat. Quote attributed to Zoe. Martin Shipman says, nice to see some Southern. James Petts says, the only time that I visited the USA, I went to the MTA Subway Museum, and I expect you were impeccably dressed whilst you did that, because one's chap abroad always likes to wear the appropriate suit and tie combination. Have you ever met James Petts at the show? He is the best dressed man that I've ever seen. He is always impeccably dressed. He's like... So, what's one's chap wearing this season? James Petts is there at the forefront of chap fashion. I hope you don't mind me saying that. I was sat there going, "Oh, she's making fun of me."
She's not. She just really likes the outfits.
I do actually.
Next up, we have Andrew Johnson from Blairgowie.
Bobby Nomad, I think. Right, okay.
Who says, "Please find attached a link to my latest video of my garden railway. I know we don't play videos with sound because of potential copyright infringement. Yeah, we've had some issues with that in the past. I would ask you to recommend that if someone likes what they see, they should watch the video again. Maybe you could provide a link on your YouTube stream. Would that work?" We do.
Yeah, we will be doing. Don't worry.
Every video we put out, we put a link.
It shall be done.
So don't worry about it. Yeah, it's in the thing.
If someone sends you a video that has sound that is just locos, Is that an issue?
The problem
or it's just easy just to say no?
Our
generally?
problem is that we can't tell in advance.
Yeah,
And
Right,
I
okay.
don't have.
we can't
like
actually
a
hear
delay.
it up here.
Right. Okay.
So, hit play.
And we did
Oh,
get.
so it wouldn't matter anyway. You would just be sort of going.
Yeah.
They'd
Yeah.
all be enjoying it, and you'd be going tum-de-tum.
Yeah,
Exactly.
What was that? Yeah.
And
That's our biggest issue.
James Pett says, "I approve of approval of smart dress." Yeah,
Oh
James
my
Pett,
goodness.
you always strike me as being the kind of chap who has never knowingly worn a pair of jeans or a tracksuit. I can't imagine. If James
Wow, this
Pett
looks good.
wanted to go incognito, all he would have to do is wear a tracksuit and an Adidas baseball cap. Nobody would recognise him.
This is quite
Oh,
a thing.
this is nice. See, garden railways. I love garden railways.
I'm impressed.
And there's so much fun to be had with a garden railway, especially in the summer months.
Never knowingly underdressed, says James.
Yes, I think I would suggest that he had a T-shirt with that written on, but he'd never wear it.
Spidey 56 says, when I was in Cardiff a while back, a nice man came up to me and said he was doing free haircuts for the homeless.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
I don't know whether to say, well, that's very civil-minded of you, or to be insulted that he was telling you that he was doing free haircuts for the homeless.
So this is a lovely garden railway, and it's a lovely
Really
garden, and that's one of the things that it's really nice to see. Model trains running through a natural foliaged garden,
Yeah.
and it even got there's like a building there as well. The little plate layers hut from the Pico range. Very versatile. I've got several of them up here. Somebody did ask actually. The locomotive on the coal train is a Hellion Metropolitan Electric. They did quite a few different versions a while back. Your best bet these days is to look out for them second hand.
This is quite a long
JL
video, so I'm gonna
Railways.
jump it on.
JL Railways says, "Hey Jenny and Zoe, so sorry I'm late."
A Monday clubber is never late to the wagons, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
Oh, doggy!
Oh, doggy.
Hello, doggy.
Hello, I need feeding. I have never been fed in my life. Honest, give me food.
I like that we're getting not just the railway and the choo-choos,
I like this.
the surroundings of the
A
garden
water
railway
feature.
as well.
A water feature in your garden is always really, really good.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing this with us. Really great to see. It's very soothing and relaxing.
It
Trains
is.
outdoors in a garden with a gin and tonic. So thank you so much for that. We're
And
gonna.
like we said, we have put the link into the chat. It's a long video. Do go and check it out.
Yeah.
I think you'll find it's well worth it.
So thank you so much for that. Ruben Ashwell says it's a lovely garden. It is a lovely garden railway. Fly Michelle one as well says lovely garden railway.
What's up?
I'm
You've
just
gone.
scanning the.
She's just gone silent. That always makes me think
I'm
she's either
scanning the
crashed
comments.
or something's coming in
You've
like
got to
a Windows
remember,
update.
I've been awake since 2 a.m. and it's quite warm up here. So, I just love the pith helmet. Did you have to hunt for one of them?
No, one of the guys on the forum found it on Amazon because I couldn't find one that was big enough for my massive head, and
Jen has
he
that
did,
problem.
and it was perfect.
I had
I'm
that.
sorry, I can't remember your name.
What, Zoe?
No, the person who found it probably on the forum.
Oh right, yes. Well, so did they just send it to you then? Or
No,
just send you a
they
link?
sent me a link.
Oh, right.
But they're not particularly expensive. I'm just going to send Zoe an email.
But it's like if you were taking the slow boat out to India, it would be what the well-dressed chap would be wearing. In fact,
Yes, if you somehow managed to find yourself in the 19th century, you would be perfectly well attired.
talking of which,
Absolutely.
James Pett, do you have a pith helmet?
I think there's a really posh one.
Yeah, I suspect he does.
So next up we have from Richard Swiderski saying, "Hello Jenny and Zoe. Hope you're both well. Little video to show at the Monday Club. On a wet 5 a.m. morning, we see the Caledonian Sleeper with 93018. Then we see an A4 007 Sir Nigel Grizzly. So this should be fun.
Oh, James Pett says, I do not. I have a Panama hat. Oh, you need the pith helmet. How are you going to cope if you ever go to the Indian subcontinent?
I have a nice Panama hat too.
Oh, New Junction says, very impressive helmet, Peachy. He's been polishing it all night.
So mirror finish.
Stop throwing those bloody spears at me, okay?
So I've sent you an email of the link for the chat with Revolution Trains, but you don't need to show it because it's just people talking.
Oh, I've already linked it twice.
Oh, yeah, oh, brilliant. Okay.
Big hello to Yaharik. It says, I'm doing Chatham on the Saturday.
You know what I'm doing on Saturday? Nothing. I'm having a day off for the first time in weeks. Oh my goodness. Beep, beep. Look how quick that is.
I don't think it would go beep,
Look at the way
beep.
the trees are moving. It almost looks real. Yeah, love it. Oh, this is a steamy weemy.
Oh, wow.
That kettle's going at full
What's the
power,
Nigel?
isn't it?
Yeah, I suspect so, yes.
Yeah,
I think
6,007.
it's the only one that's on the main line these days. Or is
Beep,
Bitten,
beep.
or is Bitten no longer running on the main line anymore?
Richard Brutus says,
sure.
is that a Secura scale?
Because I know Union of South Africa has been retired.
Is that going back to Canada? Or,
No, Union of South Africa. No, it's East Lancs Railway. Actually. It's got their own here.
That was nice. Thank you so much,
I
Richard,
think
for
it
sending
just
that in.
reached a point where it was ready for another heavy overhaul.
No,
and
it
it was
a lot of money. doesn't
It's
it?
a lot of money,
Yeah.
and the guy who owns it
Bitton's at
basically
Margate.
just said he's going to call it a day.
Bitton's at Margate. And look at that. Look at everyone else's comment as well. The rain effect on this layout is amazing. It looks real.
Is
You see,
anybody?
the Class 92 with the Caledonian Sleeper train, now that I think would be a cracker from Revolution as well. But again, at the moment, nobody else is doing electric, apart from the Pico stuff.
Yeah.
So I think people are probably going to be waiting for Hornby to bring out electric, and then we'll get catenary from West Hill Wagon Works.
Have you seen the stuff that they're doing, which is held on by magnets? I think
Superb.
that is a game changer.
Yeah.
Because it also means not only can you remove it for like track cleaning and stuff like that, but it also means that you can run your layout with and without electrification, depending on what area you want to go for, which I think is brilliant.
And if you knock it, it pings off. You put it
Yeah.
back on again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that is just such a... It's one of those things where you think, that is so simple. Why has nobody thought of that before?
So Simon on Trains Model Railways at Showcase 6009. Union of South Africa is in Scotland now as a museum piece on his farm.
Oh, right. Oh, I
my
And
goodness.
Zoe's made it really tiny.
Oh, well,
So I
It's
didn't mean to
impossible
do
for us to
that.
finish the line.
well done, Zoe. I don't
Didn't
know what...
mean to do that.
Richard Grutas has a bit of helmet envy. He says, I wish I had a helmet like that. Yes. He's been polishing it slowly all night.
Yeah, here we go. And now it's come off.
Ham Shackleton says, Jen's video and sound have drifted apart. No, this is a very, very poorly dubbed kung fu film. So this is the bit that you fast forward through to get to the action. Stop
you
throwing
finished?
those bloody spears at me.
Are you
okay?
finished?
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Help me.
Yeah. You didn't know what you were getting into, did you?
Yeah, did you not get briefed by Iron Horse Railways?
No, it just said, be afraid, be very afraid.
Next up, we have a very
Bite.
special video.
It's
This one's come from someone called Jenny Kirk, and it's about a Black 5.
Ooh.
You know, there's a better video that I filmed rather than the one that you filmed, perilously close to that platform edge.
It looks closer
It
than
was
it
noted.
was.
Can I just say, anybody who was noting, oh, look at her, she's on the wrong side of the yellow line. There was no trains coming the other way, and we knew that because we'd checked.
Fight helmet, lovely boy. Show it off. Just Martin
Meow,
Shipman.
beep, beep. Beep, beep.
Martin, it's too hot in here.
It is quite warm. We've got an X-Tractor fan,
Although,
and we've got a fan,
There
and
we go.
outside was really quite humid earlier.
do you really want to know why I bought the helmet though?
Because it's your profile picture is.
Yes, I bought it specifically for the next scan at Model Loop.
Nice.
Have you had a scan done?
I have, and in TT120 scale, it's a little fat blob.
What I discovered the hard way is that you, when you get scanned by Model U, the actual, the kind of the plain grey render is very unforgiving.
Yes.
So my pose, with hindsight, kind of just accentuated the fact that I got a bit of a gut going on.
Well, so I was you're my wife now. This is Dave. Not Dave. Sarah Davis. But I was 19.9 stone around my scan. I'm now 16.9. I want to get down to the 15s before I get scanned again.
So what's your secret of losing weight? Just asking for a friend.
Only eating what my wife tells me I'm allowed to eat. I'm not eating what the hell I like.
Oh, so kebabs are out then?
Yeah, and pints. And...
New Junction says funny impression. What? Me or you?
I don't know.
So if you press the button again, while we're
Hit the lever.
having a chat, here's Clive Cabal with his Stranraer yard, which is very nice.
Coming along nicely there.
It's looking lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of choo-choos.
Yeah. That's a track tamper in there as well. I've got one of those somewhere in this room. But yeah, nice. Oh well, I like the. Is that a Scania 110? The lorry at the front.
I don't know, but I do like the way that his grass isn't flat, because the ground isn't flat.
And a lot of overgrown grass going through the tracks as well. So you do see a lot. Really great effect. Gronk it up! Gronk it up! Gronk it up!
It is a cult.
Hashtag not a cult for legal and tax purposes.
The Gronk It Up cult is not a cult for legal and tax purposes. Your mileage may vary.
Martin Shipman says, I've had an NHS scan. I wouldn't want a model of the result though. Ew.
I didn't. I had a scan the other day and it took me days to recover because they poke and prod you.
Yeah.
They're all rough. What is that pylon at the top? Because it looks like it's got
they're like lights. They're like tower lights.
You so low-flying aircraft won't crash
No.
It's amazing how tall they actually are when you in scale.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of the things that's actually always cracks me up when you see model trees marked with a scale. Because I don't know about you, but I find that trees come in all sizes.
Yes, some of them are very, very big.
Yeah, and real trees, you could probably buy trees being sold for G scale and plant them on an N gauge layout, and they're probably about the size of a mature horse chestnut tree. In scale for N gauge.
Yeah,
and trees are huge.
Absolutely. I mean, when I worked in the film industry, when we made trees, for this kind of scale, they would be almost this big.
Yeah.
Down below. And in fact, I don't think I've seen a real scale full size tree on a double O layout because they are so big. They look, and when if you walk around the show, they would look out of place.
Yeah. I mean, I had this conversation with the guy from Primo Trees. You've seen them at shows. And we were talking about just that. It's, people very much underestimate how big trees get.
Sarah Davis says, I had a blood test last week. Glad I revised. Sarah, the answers were in you all along.
So are you allowed to talk about what you worked on in the film industry?
Yeah. Just ignore
was it model making that you did?
Well, we predominantly did miniature effects. I also worked in props departments. I did the vast majority of my back catalogue was straight to video DVDs, a few pop videos. The famous stuff would be, I was in the original team that did Harry Potter. And so I was one of the, because it's, when you have a big film like that, it's more of a manufacturing kind of process.
Yeah.
So I was a pattern maker on that, so I did the patterns for all the window surrounds. They then go off to be cast, then the joiners made a timber frame, and then the kids then stick on these sheets of brickwork, then joiner comes back in, routes a hole, and your cast version of your window gets stuck in the back, and then another team of painters come along and paint it.
Yeah.
Like 180 people worked on it.
It's like a production line. I mean, I must have...
Well, for something that scale, it's got to be.
Yeah.
I remember going to, I think it was Shepperton or somewhere like that, when they were filming one of the Star Wars films. and just watching them making props.
It's
to
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
And it was like a production line, absolute production
And sometimes
line.
they don't have much time to make something, so you end up with something slapped together and spray painted. Like the Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn communicates with the Republic Command using a lady shave with some lights stuck on it.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is really, really low rent, really quick, really cheap. You've often mentioned about some of the excellent model makers that we've seen, that we know within the community, but they can work in the film industry. Well, of course they could. They certainly have got the skills for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether or not they can actually cut their cloth to what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because invariably, a model is shown for a few seconds in front of camera, and it needs to be done super quick.
And there's a
And
budget.
it doesn't need to be as good as what actually. So most of the model makers I know in the film industry, even if they are into, a lot of them are into fine scale, either aircraft or railways, they never mention that on their CV. They never show any of that on their CV because you just immediately get ignored. Because they think that you're going to spend too much time and make it too perfect.
Oh, thank you so much, JL Railways. Very
Thank
kindly
you.
sent $9.99 on the super chat. Says, hey Jenny, I managed to get 92 Squadron in Malachite Green yesterday. Excellent. That is actually a really quite striking colour. But yeah, to go back to the model making, I know what you mean. It's like, because there's very strict budgets as well, and time limits. And my experience of film and TV is everything is last minute.
Yeah.
There's no time to kind of linger on things.
Every now and then there'll be
Speaking
something.
of time, we've just got to jump very quickly over to
What do you want me to
a
press?
quick word from our sponsor.
So, the Monday Club is proudly sponsored by TMC, the Model Centre. Check them out at themodelcentre.com. The website features extensive stocks of new models as well as selective pre-owned items where you can track down that bargain you've always wanted. Pre-order with confidence all of the forthcoming models from all the manufacturers. TMC also offer a renumbering and renaming service so you can get the exact identity of locomotive that you want. Why not also check out their value weathering, or go for something incredibly special with their bespoke service where you can choose from a more extensive weathered look right through to custom graffiti either off the peg or to a design of your choice. Check out TMC today at themodelcentre.com and start your model journey.
Party.
Hello
Because I won't
again.
Sorry, we're just talking about Craig behind his back.
Oh,
Bless his cotton socks.
Yeah, but no, one of the other things actually, talking about film and TV, the advent of 4K has kind of changed things a lot because
now you
when
have to see things properly, don't you?
no, some of the stuff I've worked on, like Sanditon, going down there, and what struck me was that a lot of the props, which previously would have just been like thrown together and just spray painted, they said in some respects it's made the prop department's job easier because they just get a budget and they go to an auction and they buy genuine antique furniture because they said the resolution on 4K.
There was always been a fine line between. Whenever we did anything, we looked for a prop list and we quote and we say, "Can I buy it? Can I buy it? Can I buy it? Can I buy it?" You know. Also, 3D printing has changed things.
Yes.
So, like back in the day, backdrop of Die Another Day, we had a load of Aston Martins in the background and the ice palace. Of course, they're Tamiya kits.
Yeah.
Then made and then cast in resin. So you got a whole bunch of them banged out.
Yeah.
Right? Nowadays, you would just have that would be a whole team of people for over a week and a half. Now, one person would bang out 10 or 15 or whatever over that course of that week and be painting them whilst the other ones are cooking off. You know, and that has changed things. Health and safety, though, if anybody's looking for a job in the film industry, health and safety is still poor. It was always very poor. Some of the rules, the legal things have come in because American companies don't want to be sued. That's been good, but it's always been atrocious.
Yeah.
And the hours are not fun. When I finished the film industry, working in the film industry, I did a 6.5 day week, 12-hour minimum day.
Well, I remember hearing a story from somebody who worked. Do you remember Scrap Heap Challenge in the 90s?
Yeah.
And they said that was an eye opener doing the shoots for that because health and safety didn't exist, and they said it was just
Especially with Dickie Strawbridge knocking about.
But I mean, it was They said it was just every day you were thinking somebody going to get killed today. It was that kind of dangerous.
Have we finished now?
Not quite, no. So we're still live. We're still. So 3B Rails says great stream. Many thanks, Jenny, Zoe, and Peachy. Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath. Night, everybody. Richard Gruder says, do you remember 625 lines coming out? Cheeky. Time to sign off, says Dave Scott Rower. So we're just going to be winding down now.
Nighty night, pajama.
Absolutely, and a big thank you to Peachy TT 120 for coming along, driving across the country from.
Well, I had to cross the Pennines.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yes, there's a border up at the top where you exit.
Where you leave the dry world and enter the moist world, where everything is damp and wet and rainy.
Yeah, that's because all the weather's coming off the Atlantic,
Yes.
and it's rolling up the Pennines, dumping all the water so it can get over and be dry
And wonderful for us. Yeah.
over the People's Republic of Yorkshire. Yeah, but no, it's been great having you on. Don't forget, everybody, check out Peachy TT 120's YouTube channel. And you mentioned a little bit that this Friday you've got a special video coming up.
Yeah, we're looking at what currently available power banks fit the Hornby TT120 range of locos.
And
So it's a complete review, and there's a little tick box chart telling you what's going on, whether or not it's been a waste of time for Hornby to do their smaller power bank, stay alive.
And not wanting you to kind of blow the video, but were you pleasantly surprised?
No, I was unfortunately disappointed.
Oh, right, okay.
But then something else came along at the end that was a pleasant surprise.
That's good. So you'll have to watch that video to find out more. It's certainly a really useful topic, and one for anybody, not just TT120, but of course anybody who maybe has a small shunting locomotive where space is tight. It's great to have a look at what's available on the market and just how easy they are to get inside ready to run locomotives. So look, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be winding down now. Don't forget that your live streaming entertainment does continue with Gamehammer Classic Gaming, and it's all request Monday night. So it could be anything. You could request anything at all. Keep everybody manically request SpongeBob SquarePants, because I know that Zoe hates it. So if you all request that, then that'll be good for a laugh. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now.
Can I fart now?
Have you been holding it in all this time? Oh, is there like a cork which is just it's like squeaking its way out? Like
No, I'll save it for outside.
dun 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 dun. Take care, everybody. See you later.
Brilliant.
So, everybody, I'm going to be heading off now. I've got to see our guest out. But it's been great having your company. You guys take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. You should get prompted to go straight on over to the Gamehammer Classic Gaming stream. Right, I'll just double check with the Monkey of Cupboardness and make sure that all is well. So, Gamehammer Classic Gaming is up and running, so I'm going to move you across. Just got time to say thank you from